Hello, I'm Kamal Rachman from Hamtramck Television, Channel 19. I'm here with Hamtramck Mayor Dr. Amer Ghalib. He's been in office for 2 years and he has been seeing so much activities in Hamtramck, and I'm sure you would like to know his opinions and what's going on, and hearing it from him. There is lots of activities on social media and everywhere, national media, and we wanted to explore his activities and different actions that's taking place and putting Hamtramck to the national news media. Well, thank you, Dr. Ghalib, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kamal and Greg, for coming to my office in the City Hall and for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about the situation in Hamtramck.
Sure. It's been 2 years, over 2 years.
Actually, under 2 years.
It's under 2 years. Okay.
A year and 9 months. And there's so much that happened.
It seemed like more than 2 years.
Yeah. Well, we started in January 22. It's more than 2 years since the election, yes, but in the office we started in January 22, so it's a year and 9 months. And I would like to start emphasizing or highlighting the most important accomplishment before we get into the questions.
Sure.
We took the office in 2021, for the people to know, and we had a huge deficit in our budget. $3 million deficit in our budget. Within 1 year, we have multi-million surplus for the first time in Hamtramck in the past 2 decades, you could say, with sustainable revenue. It's not, as you know, Hamtramck fell under the emergency management in the past decade, like 2 times or so. And every time the emergency manager would come and sell some properties and balance the budget, and within 1 year it will fall again. This is a sustainable revenue for the city, and the consulting company told us we are good from now until 2028. This is the major accomplishment that we have, and as you could see, now we are fixing a lot of the infrastructure. We have some extra money to fix the alleys and the streets, and the lead pipe, lead lines, replacement lines, and the sewer system. We have a big project coming that will cost up to $50 million. We secured a lot of money so far for that project, and so we bought so much equipment for the city, for the DPS. We are fixing the city hall, changing the carpet, windows. Bought so many trucks for the DPS, sweepers for $600,000. We have spent so much money this year from our balanced budget or from our surplus. And this is for the first time in Hamtramck recent history. That's something that the city residents should know. It's not only the hot topics that's being discussed on social media or so, but we have accomplished so much so far, and there are more good stuff coming.
So that's definitely good news. You don't have to drive too far to see the progress being made in the road repair and lead pipe replacement projects and everything that's going on. And also, there is a lot of buzz around social media about, the lead pipe being replaced, which is definitely good news, because what we learned from city of Flynn, the situation, and this will definitely help avoid it in Hamtramck. It's good that city is in surplus, and that's going on, and that's definitely a great accomplishment. Now, so in your opinion, what has been the biggest challenge so far being in the office? I know because of this is a predominantly Muslim city, and it's always in the eyes of the media, and I think you also, city probably gets scrutinized a lot more than other cities get focused more. So, what's your challenges that you have faced so far?
So I think the biggest challenge so far, getting the trust of people, who do not support me. I would say we try so hard to serve everyone equally in the city, to treat everyone equally. And I started with good intention, taking the office, reaching out to everyone, even those who disagree with me or who did not support me in the past, trying to gain their trust and trying to build bridges and relationships with them. As you know, I did not change the administration with the help of the city council. We just kept everybody in place. We even appointed some new people, including the former mayor to some of the DDA. That was with good intention to unite the community. I appointed you in the Housing Commission, and I thank you for accepting that appointment as well. Everything we did, try to build a stronger unity within our community, so we can work together and overcome all the challenges that we have in the city. Unfortunately, a good segment of the city population did not accept, to build this good relationships, or did not support me, does not want to work with me. Some people are opportunists, and they took advantage of being appointed within some boards and commissions to start working against my vision for the city. I give them time to change their behavior for more than a year, but it didn't work out, and unfortunately I had to remove some of them. Yes, there are controversial issues, and that's a big challenge. We try to accommodate everyone in the city. We try to represent everyone, treat everyone equally, without discrimination, without preferential treatment. But unfortunately, some people don't want to accept that. Either we go their way, or there's no chance to compromise.
So you were talking about specifically, you had to remove some people from the board, that you left them untouched for the large part because you wanted to keep things. You didn't want to give a message that, hey, I'm changing everything. You wanted to see things operate smoothly as before, and didn't want to make any drastic changes. Now, the boards serve at the pleasure of the mayor. You appoint people that you feel right for the positions, and so you had a situation few months ago that I think it started with the flag, and the controversy. I think a lot of people forget that controversy did not start with you. It started long before you took the office. The flag issue was there long before you were even here, and then other issues were there back in 2007 and 8, and so it was not just you that it started it. I think, although people try to put it on social media that as soon as you took office all the hell broke loose or something like that. So you had to remove someone from was there a Human Relations Commission?
Yes.
And that's because somebody. What was the reason of removal?
Well, it was disrespecting the resolution that we passed, and he was in defiance of that resolution, where the resolution just stated which flags can be flown in city properties and public spaces. A few days later, they went and they just violated the resolution and placed the LGBT flag in a place where it became illegal to put it up there. And that's one reason. Another reason was the year before, it was put up in Joseph Campo without our knowledge. There was disregard and negligence of the existence of the city government. The mayor and city council didn't know what was happening. There was a decision that was taken without a meeting or a quorum of the Human Relations.
So there was a lot of controversy, but you let it go, you let it fly because you didn't want to see any incident happen, or just because you wanted a good relationship, you wanted to maintain a good relationship, and then kind of like change the law, update the law so what does this new ordinance say? A lot of people that even national media say that, even on Detroit Free Press, I think, or Detroit News, one of the local media reported that it was, and here media in Hamtramck too. They're saying it's banning LGBTQ flag, and which I read the ordinance. It does not talk about LGBTQ flag or anything. It specifically says what gets flown. Do you believe that it was about LGBTQ flag banning, or it was about setting things straight about what gets flown there?
So I know some people, I try to explain over and over to some people, but they don't want to believe what the intention was. Like I said, there was a problem before I came regarding the controversial issues, including the LGBTQ, since you mentioned since 2007. And I know some people, they accuse you of saying a statement against them since then. I heard it from multiple people. So that was an issue from before. We had a resolution from 2013 that allow the international flags to fly in the city flag poles in Joseph Campo. And it says clearly to reflect the international caricature of the city. And for the past 10 years, we had those flags, countries' flags. That's what.
So when you say international flags, you are meaning the country flags?
Yes, the
United
country
Nations
flags.
member countries' flags.
Yes, that they reflect the international
Yeah.
character of the city, meaning where the immigrants came from, those countries that the immigrants belongs to. And so for the past 10 years we had some flags. Not all countries were represented because there was a problem with that resolution. You had to pay $300 for your flag to be flown in there. And some countries, they don't have businessmen or people to sponsor that flag. For example, the Moroccan flag is not there. Egyptian, Afghanistan, Syria, Mauritania, Somalia, later
we have people here.
Iraq. We have people in this
Yeah.
city, and I know them, and so many other countries that their flags weren't there. So it wasn't a good representation for the residents of Hamtramck. But we never had the LGBT flag flown among those flags,
As an national
including
flag.
during the former mayor time until
Also,
2021.
it wasn't flown during her time?
It was never there
At the,
during her time.
okay, I didn't
And
know.
when it was flown in front of the city hall, there was voting in the city council. There was tie 3-3, and she broke the tie in favor. Well, the majority of the community were opposing, but they didn't cause problems. They didn't protest. They respected the government decision, even if it goes against their will. But then they punished her during the election. That's what democracy is. Okay, you refuse to listen to us, you will see during the election. And that's what happened. There's no respect for democracy now. The resolution or the decision to fly the flag or not should have passed by the city council, just like it did in 2021. The Art and Culture Commission asked for permission to fly the LGBT flag in front of the city hall. Then the city council voted and it passed. Well, when I came in 2022, they just ignored this process and they went around it and they used the human relation to place it on Joseph Campo without even our knowledge. When I asked what happened, how did it go there? Because I was blamed by the community, the majority of people, that it was my decision. It was not my decision. I had no idea. Well, the chair of the human relations, whom I just had a meeting with, said that the city manager, Kathy Anger, was the one who told him. She denied. She said it wasn't her. She said he's saying that she told him it was for the previous year, not that year. But it took him a whole year to get it ready. Well, there's a new administration, a new city council, and this is a very controversial issue, and you know that there will be consequences. So how can you ignore our opinion and just decide to do it individually with no meeting or quorum? They keep saying that we never had a quorum. Well, if you never had a quorum, that means this commission is dysfunctional and it should not take important decision like this one.
Right.
So we solved the problem, like you mentioned, last year by just letting it fly for 3-4 months, just like the other flags, until we reacted responsibly, so we don't divide the community. We said, okay, let it fly there, and I took the responsibility of explaining to the community that it was not our decision. It's okay. We will solve this problem peacefully. And so the following year, he told the Hamtramck review, that he is going to do it again. And we just confirmed the resolution of 2013 that was passed during the former administration, that those flag poles only for international flags that reflect the international character of the city. And we just, to avoid any chaos, because some groups came to us and asked, oh, if you fly the LGBTQ flag, we need to fly our flags as well. And there's some religious groups and some political groups, and it will be
Or
a mess.
even Nazi flags too. Nazi
Exactly.
flags.
They don't want to believe this argument, but if you watch the public comments, some people came and expressed that, hey, if you fly the LGBTQ, I have a flag that I need to be flown. I need it to be flown. And some flags have some statements written on them that may be insulting to some group or another. So to close the door in front of that,
For the more trouble, bigger
more trouble, we just took a decision to just confirm the previous resolution and just specify which flags can be flown in city properties and public spaces. That said, we did not ban the LGBT only, and then the other groups did not protest because they respected it. They said, okay, if it's only the government and military flags, what's the problem? I mean,
So city specifically did not ban any flag. It just set some guidelines what can be flown there.
exactly.
But some people are taking it as such that they ban certain flags, and that's how it's being known to national media. And so, are you doing anything about it, like correcting people's opinion, or their some media reports it? Are they looking? Do you think that they're looking at the resolution itself, or they're just taking it as however they're hearing it? And
Well, whenever I try to explain to people, they don't get convinced. They say, no, the intention was to ban the LGBT flag. And I told them the city wants to stay neutral. The city wants to avoid discrimination, but at the same time avoid preferential treatment. So, to special interest groups. You know, we have to be equal. You can't use the city properties or resources to promote your agenda, ignoring the rest of the community. Otherwise, they will come and try to do the same thing, and then we either have to listen to everyone or just keep it like this. It's less headache for us to just allow these three flags behind me: United States, the state flag, and the city flag, and the prisoner of wars, and that's it. I mean, you can use your own properties to promote your agenda, fly your flags, and if any kind of vandalism takes place against you, we will be strictly against that. We will denounce that. And we just passed a resolution in the last meeting to set up some penalties for vandalism and racial intimidation by action or so. And some people didn't even like that. What I'm trying to avoid any violence in the city against any group, protecting the LGBT, protecting others from getting harmed and overreacting toward the LGBT. So it's fair resolution, I think. And so this is our intention, but there's overreaction. There is special interest groups, even from outside of Hamtramck, that try to escalate the situation and make it sound like we are targeting some special group, and the media is not being fair. They just take the word banning certain group flag while the truth is not. It's just we are being neutral, and what can be best than just allowing the American flag to fly there. I mean, I'm getting so much support from all over the United States, receiving emails in a ratio of 3 to 1. 3 supporting what we did, 1 opposing. And these are American people from all over the states. So basically, this should be a role model for other cities too.
so in Hamtramck, whenever there was a common cause, forget the flag, forget everything else. For example, like when Muslims were banned, Muslims alike, they came together. There were rallies here, and I think LGBTQ community was also part of it. Opposing and so they for a common cause, people can come together. Do you see the relationship? It's probably at a low level right now because of if social media is the gauge, then it's probably one of the lowest points that I have seen. What are the ways this can be improved? Because nonetheless, people that are living in Hamtramck, you are representing everybody. How can the relationship keep made better? In other words, if the community groups wants to meet with you and then discuss and then find common ground in other ways, are you open to it? And then is this something that you would recommend people do?
Yeah, definitely. If we disagree on something, it doesn't mean that I hate you or I don't want to get along with you. Because now we disagree on stuff. I'm being called a bigot, homophobic, terrorist lately, distributing my pictures with the word terrorist underneath. This is not how you should react. I mean, respect democracy, respect the different opinions within the same community. Yes, we listen to you and your concern, and I'm willing to, I say it all the time, I'm serving you equally just like anybody else. I will continue to serve everyone and treat everyone equally with no discrimination. I'm open to any kind of meeting. I just finished one with Ross Gordon, the one I fired from the Human Relations. I'm open to meet with anyone. He came. This is the second meeting for us to discuss this issue. We had some agreements about some stuff, how to de-escalate the tension, how to bring people together. We had a plan to continue meeting. And recently I was asked by some LGBT representative to meet with me, and I welcome that. I'm not closing my doors against anyone. So we will meet and discuss the issue, try to reach a common ground and maintain peace and stability in our city. There's no serious violence in our city. There's no, everyone, I don't think the life of anyone changed because of what's happening. Yes, there are some reports about some kids, pulling flags here and there, but these are individual actions, and we don't support them. And the city actually took action against them and give tickets and went to houses, to try to protect everyone. And so we are supporting everyone, protecting everyone in the city against any kind of vandalism or violence in the city. And I think people can still live with each other with tolerance and acceptance. We just have to be reasonable and flexible. There's no need for overreaction. There's no need to threaten or take it to a different level. Just like I said, 2021, majority of the community reacted peacefully to flying the flag in front of City Hall. They didn't like it, but they didn't cause any trouble. I think that's how it should be. If you don't like an elected official's decision, I use a democratic way to vote him out. That's possible. I don't mind. If you don't like me, I know I can't satisfy everyone, and I can't make everyone like me or support me. Maybe you can vote me out in the next election if you can. That's not a problem. That's accepted protest. But to start overreacting, bringing elected officials from Lansing to protest here, asking the states to stop funding Hamtramck as a group punishment to our city and our community, going to extreme, to stereotype and label the whole community as terrorists just because we disagree about some stuff. That's not accepted. That's really too far.
Did you just give away a hint that you'll be rerunning?
I think I'm getting enough support to run again. I am a strong fighter. I'm telling you, yes, I'm facing some people who are also strong fighters for their cause, and I respect that. But I'm not someone who would give up in the middle of the way and leave my community hanging in the middle. So far until now, unless some emergency happen, I'm planning to run again.
Good luck to you. I'll change the subject a little bit and let's talk about like I mentioned at the beginning, that Hamtramck is getting a lot of national media attention, international attention. And recently there were some meetings with Hamtramck is traditionally, I think, Democratic. Mm-hmm. And there were some meetings that I came across a video and then some posts and then some comments about meeting Michael Flynn, who was President Trump's security advisor.
National security advisor.
And so he had some controversial stance on different things, and his meeting, is that an indication that is that one area that you were getting support, or it was just the courtesy meeting, they're just trying to reach out?
Yeah, so I'm still Democrat, by the way, until now. I haven't changed. Some people think I'm shifting to Republican. But like I always say, I'm a leader, not a follower. I can disagree with Democrats and some stuff. And I think if I ever decide to change, I'm going to be Democrats, like in the middle. Democrat, Republicans, I call it Democrats. So, yeah. I don't have to be affiliated with any political party. And I don't claim that I represent the whole community here, especially the Muslim community. They are free to choose whoever they want. This meeting came as a result of them reaching out to us. I did not reach out to anyone. But because, as you mentioned, Hamtramck was in the attention of the national news lately. Some people were interested to learn about Hamtramck and the leadership of Hamtramck. So I was invited once to a meeting in Sterling Heights a couple months ago with Michael Flynn. He was there. And I had another meeting in Dearborn. So I finished my meeting in Dearborn. It was a scholarship event. And then in the last 15 minutes, I went to that meeting. They were done actually with the meeting. I had a 10 minutes conversation with General Flynn. And apparently, he complimented me, and he said he liked what he heard about my vision for the city, not only the city, but he mentioned that I have a strategic plan for the whole country and some issues. So he then kept in touch, and he asked if he can come to talk to our community in Hamtramck. Of course, we are open to talk to anyone. I always say communication help solve so many problems, and this is my strategy. I'm opening a channel of communication with everyone now, people that I disagree with or people that support me. So we organized this meeting. He came. It was a question or answer with unconditional meeting. I told him there might be some tough questions by the community because some of them have some concerns about the past of General Flynn and some statement that he said in the past. And I think it was a productive meeting. We educated him about many stuff, including the difference between Islamic extremists, those who were fighting, as he mentioned, in Mosul and other places, like the ones who made ISIS, and the 1.8 billion Muslims around the world. So we made it clear those don't represent the Muslims. Those don't even get along with their families and their community. Muslim countries were part of the coalition against them. And so we cannot generalize, and they do not represent Islam. And some of the team of General Flynn actually spoke and apologized about their stance against Muslims in the past. They said, we didn't know about Islam, we never met some Muslim people. And so I think it was an important meeting that clarified so many points to them. And if we are able to change their speech and make them deliver friendly speech toward Muslims, that would be a great accomplishment, including, the head of the Republican Party and some people who are running for the presidency. So I think that was a good step to, we did not make any promises, but people are free to choose whatever they want. I think, like I said, this aggressive behavior by some people here against the Muslim values and disrespecting their values and beliefs and not taking them into consideration when trying to promote their agenda is going to hurt one side and benefit another. I could see recently there is shifting mechanism, and I think the catalyst of that shifting mechanism is the LGBT issue. I would say it clearly, and Democrats are not doing anything to prevent that shifting mechanism. I could see it clearly. So many people are not happy with the agenda that's being forced on them, or worry about the future of their kids and schools and elsewhere. And I'm not seeing anything done by the Democrats to prevent that shifting mechanism. But I'm not representing all the Muslims, and I haven't taken any decision about my stance whom I'm gonna vote for, in the next presidential election or so. But I could see from some conversations that it is there is some major change within the Muslim community.
So the family value, the focus on family value is going to be important, and so I think from what I'm getting from this is no one, Republican nor Democrats, should take Hamtramck votes for granted. It'll be a specific to their agenda and how it affects the community, large community.
It's not only Hamtramck, by the way. The demographics are similar in Hamtramck, part of Detroit, Dearborn Heights, Malvern, Warren. These cities have a large segment of the Muslim community, and they share the same concerns, the same values. And I think people who just think that this meeting was, just for Hamtramck, it's not, because we had some guests who were from Dearborn Heights, Malvern, Detroit.
So it's an indicator.
It's an indicator
large,
of yes.
not just Michigan. Then it probably will be like
Exactly,
nationwide.
it will be nationwide as well, because this is a concern for people all around the country. And I think there are ways to prevent this, because Muslims, historically, they support Democrats. But now it looks like there
Tide
is
might
an
be
issue.
shifting.
There is an issue that, I mean, the inclusion of someone should not be an exclusion of the Muslims. So that should be taken into consideration. I mean,
So
yes,
it's like Muslims are awakening into looking into issues more so than just voting blindly for someone.
exactly.
That's
I
what
mean,
it's
they were worried about immigration laws and rules and regulations, but and the racism that was going on. But now they are thinking that, okay, that there's things that are more important, including the ability to practice their faith, religious rituals freely, the family values, maintaining the family values, and raising their having some control about raising their children, educating their children. They are against the indoctrination of their children in school. These things are very crucial to the Muslims. I said it before, some of them may prefer to live and to give up some of their freedom so they can protect their faith and family. For example, someone would prefer to live in Saudi Arabia and they're a non-democratic country where he can peacefully practice his religion and raise his children the way he wants, even if his freedom is restricted, than to live here and have no control of on raising his kids.
Find the middle ground.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we enjoy our freedom. It's the best thing in the world. This is, and I think we can work our ways to live together without trying to enforce our values or agenda on each other. There's no need for that. You can live the way you want, practice your rituals, your values the way you want, without trying to intimidate your neighbor or force your agenda on your neighbor. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. I mean, city can serve everyone equally. I don't have to support something for you to feel safe in this city. As long as we protect you, yes, there's conflict in values sometimes. And sometimes a person cannot give up on his faith and values and to satisfy the segment of the community. But as long as that person does not cause any harm or do anything against that particular segment of the community.
Thank you for that. We'll come back to Hamtramck. And most recently there was Labor Day Festival. And so this question I'm going to ask you in two parts. The way it was reported in the media, and most people, the way they heard. Traditionally, my understanding was that there was some type of order that followed all that time, like police department, city officials, and then the senior organizations that's been part of this the Labor Day parade, and then the newer organizations will go in the back. Mm-hmm. That was going on for years and years, and that was the tradition, and then the norm. And this year that was changed completely, and then it was the newer groups were put right along the police department and the city officials. And so what happened there? Some people are curious to know. And do you feel the coverage that what's going on in Hamtramck is being reported fairly by the local Hamtramck media? And and what's your thoughts on that? Because I see a lot of the time it appears that the media might be taking sides, and I don't know if you might disagree with me, but a lot of people feel that way. And is there adequate coverage of the population in Hamtramck in the media, or you feel that it's also being biased towards one versus the other?
So, talking about the order of the groups in the parade, it was predictable. I predicted it before the parade in like 3 days. And I have some text messages to some of my friends. I told them I expect this to happen. that the LGBT group will be placed right behind us. I told them, and I have the text messages, and I talked with some city council members in person, and some of them were like, no, it's not going to happen.
Was that to annoy you, or it was just...
It was just to show...
Or make it more controversial.
Make it more controversial, make us look in front of our supporters that we are hypocrites, where we do something and then do the opposite sometimes. And it's for the optics that, you know, pictures will be taken for me walking with the city council and the flags behind us, which is disrespectful to the city elected officials, especially with what's going on, the controversy that's going on. So when I first arrived, I asked for the list, to see the list, the order of the groups, and I found what I expected. The LGBT group is placed right behind us, between us and the other elected officials. And the traditional norm and practice is city officials, then county, state, federal, and then come the other groups. So why putting this group in between the city officials and then the state and you know, district elected officials? That was something unusual. It never happened before. And then when we expressed our concerns, they said, we can't do anything about it.
So city is not part of the planning group. City pays money into it, right?
We actually sponsored, but from the DDA, we give like $8,000. It was misused because it's obvious that the parade and the whole festival was used to promote certain group's agenda, which is disrespectful to the rest of the community and to the sponsors as well. I know the organizing committee are a group of volunteering people. You know, they volunteer their hours. We respect that, but you have to be fair, and you know, you can't. We know that you have certain agenda that you or some vision that you work to enforce, but to disrespect the government, the community. This is a festival for the whole community. So. We just decided not to walk, but we had a car, SUV car. We had to ride in the car and move to the first place, and that was a reaction, just to show them it's a kind of protest as well. So we did not walk. We rode a car, and then in the middle of the parade, I came back. I also walked with the Hamtramck FC soccer team. I walked with them for a little bit. And that's what happened. I mean, if you look who is the organizing committee, they're all supporters of LGBT group and advocates of that. We respect that, but you can't use your power to just you know, push an agenda and ignore the rest of the community. That's not.
So it was okay for them to be in there, but because this was a new group, so they violated a couple of things. One is they should have been where, you know, towards the end where the new groups go to, new participants go to. I think that's my understanding. And then the other one was purposefully put in between the city officials to make it more controversial. So
exactly.
you
between the city
preempt.
officials and the state officials, which is something unusual and something weird.
So what about the media role in this?
Well, the local media, I always respond to their inquiries and questions, even though some of the city council decided not to, and they just ignore it. I still respond, even though sometimes I feel it's not fair coverage for what's happening in Hamtramck. But I still respond in an attempt to clarify my point to the residents, because if I don't, then they would believe whatever they read from one side view, and that's the reason why I keep answering questions and providing evidence sometimes. So yeah, I wish the media would be more fair, because media will keep saying, hey, we ban the LGBTQ flag, and they will ignore everything else in the resolution, and they will take it. You know, they will keep saying stuff like, you know, all Muslim city council. We are not here because we are Muslims. We don't make laws because or according to our beliefs, or religion has no place in our government or decision-making process, but some people try to make it seems like it is, and that's not fair.
Well, Mayor Ghalib, thank you for your time. I think we learned a lot from you, what's going on in the city, current affairs, and then the challenges the city is facing. And I wish you luck, to deal with this and move the city forward.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamal Rachman, and thanks, Greg, for coming to my office to, like I said, give us this opportunity to talk to our residents and to people worldwide, actually, who watch this channel, and hopefully more people will be watching the channel, especially locally. I want people to learn about it and to follow, because there are so many activities that are being broadcasted by this channel, and the people don't watch it. We need to tell the community about this.
Thank you. The viewers, you heard the mayor. You need to start watching this to understand, and then be familiar with the local laws and what's going on in the city, because this is our city. We need to be aware of as much as possible and participate in actions and activities and the volunteering in different areas. Contact mayor if you need to volunteer anywhere. He's available and he's very helpful in terms of finding something for you to do. And this channel the interview will be broadcasted on social media, Facebook. This is also available under Hamtramck Public TV, Hamtramck Public TV channel 19 on YouTube channel. Please hit the like button, and then so you can follow the new postings. And I hope you all enjoyed this evening's conversation with Mayor Dr. Amer Ghalib. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.